reflection. It can be a time for discovery, a time for personal reflection, a time to do an assessment of how well we may be spending this precious gift of life. But our lives are complicated and involved. We don't always do what others expect from us. We don't always do what we expect from ourselves. We lose the connection between our actions and the impact that action has. But what if it was all recorded? All the good and all the bad, written out in minute detail and filed away on index cards, so that anyone who follows us could see what we did with our lives. Our lives on 3x5 cards, carefully filed and sitting there waiting for Judgment Day. All neatly organized, all stored away in the room. In a place between wakefulness and dreams, I found myself in the room. There were no distinguishing features save for the one wall covered with small index card files. They were like the ones in libraries that list title by author or subject in alphabetical order. But these files, which stretched across the room seemingly endless, had many very different headings. And as I drew near the wall of files, the first to catch my attention was one that read, "People I have liked." I opened it and began flipping through the cards. I quickly shut it, shocked to realize that I recognized the names written on each one. And then, without being told, I knew exactly where I was. This lifeless room with its small files was a crude catalog system for my life. Here were written the actions of my every moment, big and small, in a detail my memory couldn't match. A sense of wonder and curiosity, coupled with horror, stirred within me as I began randomly opening files and exploring their content. Some brought joy and sweet memories, others a sense of shame and regret so intense that I would look over my shoulder to see if anyone was watching. A file named Friends was next to one marked, "Friends I have betrayed." The titles ranged from the mundane to the unusually weird. Books I have read, lies I have told, comfort I have given, jokes I have laughed at. Some were almost hilarious in their exactness. Things I've yelled at my brothers. Others I couldn't laugh at. Things I have muttered under my breath at my parents. I never ceased to be surprised by the contents. Often there were so many more cards than I expected, sometimes fewer than I had hoped. I was overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the life I had lived. Could it be possible that I had the time in my 20 years to write each of these thousands or even millions of cards? But each card confirmed this truth. Each was written in my own handwriting. Each was signed with my signature. When I pulled out the file marked songs I have listened to, I realized the files grew to contain their contents. The cards were packed tightly, and yet, after 2 or 3 feet, I hadn't found the end of the file. I shut it, shamed, not so much by the quality of music, but more by the vast amount of time I knew that file represented. When I came to the file marked Lustful Thoughts, I felt a chill run through my body. I pulled the file out just a little bit, not willing to test its size, and drew out a card. I shuddered at its detailed content. I felt sick to think that such a moment had been recorded.